Good morning, everybody. This is Tyler's Talking Sports. If this is your first time tuning in, we're so glad to have you here. My name is Tyler Hess. On the other side of the mic, my brother from another mother, Tyler Castle. You'll meet him in a few minutes, and I think you'll like him. If this is your first time tuning in, you got to know what you're listening to. Here at Tyler's Talking Sports, we cover college football, we cover college basketball, we cover college baseball. You name it in the college world, we're talking about it. From breaking news to big games to new coaching hires to kids entering the transfer portal, we cover it all. So, if you love what you're listening to and you love this episode, be sure to find us on all major podcasting platforms. Find us on social media. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. Be sure to give us a follow and a like there. We're also on YouTube and TikTok, but on YouTube, be sure to give us a subscribe, because when you do, that allows you to get exclusive content that nobody else gets that's not subscribed to us. When you subscribe to us on YouTube, you get exclusive access to our 10-minute episodes that we drop weekly throughout the week. Plus, our 2 episodes we drop every Monday and Thursday at 6 a.m. You're not going to want to miss any of the content we have, and we appreciate you guys being here, and we hope you enjoy the episode.
This episode is brought to you by Next Level Fitness Club in Lebanon, Virginia. 1806 East Main Street, Lebanon, Virginia, 24266. They are a 24/7 gym facility, 24/7 tanning. They also offer certified personal training and certified functional fitness classes to fit all needs. If you're in the market for a gym membership, this is a great place to hit up. Hit up Ethan, Tyler, or Jordan at any of their numbers, and check out their website at www.nextlevelfitnessclub276.com.
This episode is brought to you by Little's Lawn Care. Little's Lawn Care is the all-you-need lawn care people. You need your yard mowed, you need your leaves blowed out of your yard, you need your gutters cleaned out, contact Little's Lawn Care at 276-698-5104. Again, that number is 276-698-5104. You can text them and you can call him. His name is Brandon Little. He's an incredible person, and be sure you let him know that Tyler sent you.
And we're live! Season 3, Episode 2, College Basketball in Full Swing. Happy Thursday morning. If it's your first time tuning in to Tyler's Talking Sports. On the other side of the mic, my brother from another mother, Tyler Hess, and myself, Tyler Castle, bringing you Tyler's Talking Sports. Hopefully y'all like some sports. Hopefully you like basketball, because we got some good updates. Hopefully you like college, because we got plenty of them.
But I do have some breaking news before we get into this episode.
Ooh.
Things been coming across the desk this morning. It's kind of the reason.
Across the desk, huh?
Yeah, kind of the reason.
Secretary?
Kind of the reason I was late getting on this recording, because, guys, it is Wednesday, so we had a plan to record at 5:45. I was a little late because I had some stuff come across. Got some breaking news out of Columbus at Ohio State with football program.
Ooh.
Earlier this week, their defense coordinator, Knowles, left for Penn State. Come to find out, he had a meeting with Ryan Day before the national championship and said, hey, I've had 5 teams that have offered me X amount of dollars, which is obviously more than I'm making now. Ryan Day looked at him and said, this is from Knowles, he looked at him and said, Ohio is the greatest place to be for football. This is the greatest program to be a part of. Why would you want to go anywhere else? If you're after more money, then maybe you're not the person I should have hired, and maybe you need to pack your bags and leave. So Knowles told this in his presser, told this at Penn State, and has vowed to open the book on all the secrets from Ohio State and let everybody know, and everybody at Penn State know what they're running, how they run it, what their defense is, how they recruit, all this stuff, because he says he will get them back.
Drama. I love it.
Granted, that's just, drama, like you said, but this is the big breaking news. This just actually happened around an hour ago. Ohio State, let me get the whole article here so I get the actual coach's name. I don't want to get it wrong, so just give me 1 second here. It is very disturbing, if true. There's not a lot about it right now out. I clicked the wrong thing. Sorry. Tell you why I do that.
Off and running, man, on this episode.
Yes. Ohio State defensive coach Joe Layberg is placed on administrative leave. Oh, also back to Knowles. They didn't allow him on the float thing or whatever, the stage, when they won the national championship. He tried to get up there with Jack Sawyer, the defensive players, and they wouldn't allow him on there because he had already made those comments to Ryan Day. So they wouldn't allow him to celebrate. But
that's terrible.
According to Joey Kaufman, the Columbus Dispatch, Ohio State defensive coach Joe Layberg is being investigated by the university office for complaints against him. Layberg was placed on leave during the team's playoff run just ahead of the quarterfinal against Oregon. He was placed on administrative leave last month. An investigation of the office handles complaints against harassment, discrimination, sexual misconduct. A letter from Layberg from Human Resources on December 27th said his leave was to take effect immediately pending the office institution's inquiry investigation. He is getting paid still. He's on paid leave and is making over $72,000 a year. But right now there's rumors that it is sexual misconduct toward players and possibly students at Ohio State. So they're under a deep investigation. So some trouble up at Ohio State right now.
Sounds like it. Sounds like they hit the ceiling and now they coming down.
Yes.
Fast.
So,
Rome fell fast, right?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we'll see what happens out of this.
Ancient Empire gone,
nothing, but we'll see.
Nah,
and
I don't think it's going to change anything, to be honest.
And the early projections going into next year for the Final Four is Penn State versus Alabama, Georgia versus Oregon, and then Georgia, Penn State in the national championship, and Penn State win the national championship is the way too early projections.
Wow.
For that. And right now, your early projections for the Heisman has Arch Manning leading that. And the surprise out of this, because I can't remember the rest of the people that was on that, but the surprise was Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State. They got him ranked sixth. Best chances to win the Heisman. Nico was 5. Nico was 4. Arch was 1. I can't remember who 2, 3, 4 was. So
nice. Yeah. Nico in the top 5 is what I like to hear.
He was 7 coming into last year, so he improved.
Yeah, he did on the odds, but I don't know if it showed on the field. He didn't stay there.
But that's all I got for college football. This one's about the round ball. So, Bud, I'm going to ask you, how's your week been?
Man, it's been good. Been busy. Doing a lot of month-end stuff. So getting all my filing, tax time's right around the corner. So getting all that stuff taken care of. Right around the corner, man. It's been busy. Been very busy. Been blessed, but busy. How about yourself?
Been real busy. Lot going on at work. Work is at a monumental high. Got numbers in today. We're seeing some dramatic increases come June that are
astronomical.
Astronomical, yes. Very, very astronomical numbers. But before we get any farther, as far as my week goes, I'd like to have a shout-out. It is Wednesday.
Is it shout-out Wednesday?
Happy birthday to my lovely wife, Krista Hess. She is 33 years old.
Oh, who did that? 33?
33.
You revealed her age on the stream. Yeah. Happy birthday, Krista Hess. I was going to tell her. I was hoping that you could bring her into the pod for a second like the last one, and I was going to tell her in person, happy birthday.
You know what?
Do it on the stream. Record it instead of just wishing I had birthday on Facebook tonight before I go to bed. Be a lot nicer on here. Be a lot nicer. Guys, speaking of Facebook, while Hess is calling his wife, I've said it for weeks, guys. We are so close to 1.3K followers, and I know y'all can do it. We keep getting close, and then we keep losing some. Y'all help us get that 1.3K. Make sure you share this with your friends and family. Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, he's on the phone with the boss. Oh, he's on the phone. Typical business meeting call. I got to get this happy birthday out, guys. Hopefully y'all don't mind. We'll get right into the episode right after I get this out. But yeah, Krista Hess coming to the show. Hess going to take a 20-minute phone call here. God, I wish I had the Jeopardy music. Really, I really do.
She's on her way.
She's on her way.
Took a little bit of convincing.
Hey, Krista Hess. Let's go. Can't wait. Gonna wish her a happy birthday.
Yep.
We should do a countdown. There she is.
Oh, there she is.
There she is.
You're in the chair.
Krista Hess, everybody. Krista Hess in the house again. We got Krista back on the pod the second time in 1 week.
Yeah, in 1 week.
In 1 week. First, we had a Pizza Town review. Haven't heard anything back from that yet. We're still waiting on that. So we're still waiting to see if Pizza Town has improved. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Carmenay and Pizza Town in Lebanon, Virginia. So just want to give that out there. But the real reason we have Krista on here is it's Krista's birthday. So we just want to give Krista Hess a big happy birthday. A big, big happy birthday, guys. Make sure if y'all see Krista out, you give her a happy birthday. Even though it'll be a belated birthday tomorrow, make sure you wish her happy birthday. Thank you, Krista. I just wanted to tell you in person.
Oh, well, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Go on. Get
on out of here.
All right, guys, I'm gonna stop with media. I'm just messing with y'all. Too much going on here.
Yeah, way
too much going on. Let's get to a little quiz time, baby.
Mm.
A little quiz time again. Did y'all haven't heard if anybody liked the quiz for last? Let us know if you liked the quiz. I brought it back. But Hess, I got a question for you. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
If you're ready, never gotta get ready.
I'll be ready.
Be ready. If you're always ready, never gotta be ready. Who was the first freshman to win the NCAA tournament's most outstanding player award? Is it A, Carmelo Anthony, the GOAT? Is it B, LeBron James? Is it C, Zion Williamson? Or is it D, Kevin Durant? You have 10 seconds.
It's not B because LeBron went straight to the NBA.
Correct.
It's not Durant.
Mm.
It's down to Zion and Melo. Melo won a national championship. I think it's C, Zion.
That's your final answer?
It's final answer.
Wrong.
Hey,
Carmelo Anthony. Your boy, man. Come on.
I figured it was a trick question.
I know. You wouldn't think I'd put Carmelo on there, but I did.
Yeah.
I did. That's how much I love Melo.
He averaged 36 points a game in that tournament that year. So, I mean, and they won the national championship.
He was stupid.
But I was just thinking, like, okay, Zion.
Yeah.
He's not going to make me pick, because I'd pick Melo on anything. Whether you said who's the greatest dunker of all time, Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony. Who's the greatest half-court shooter? Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony.
Who's got the most turnovers in the league? Carmelo
Anthony.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I love CA. But yeah, it is Carmelo Anthony. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was surprising. I didn't realize that myself, being a huge Carmelo fan. But you know, you got to think I was pretty young when he was at Syracuse. So I was 10 years old.
I was in 6th grade.
Yeah, I was 10. So speaking of age, man. Speaking of age.
Yep. Well, hey, we had an exciting Monday night of basketball.
You ready to roll into this?
I am. I'm pumped about it because
all right, man. Really Monday night, run us off. Hit us off there with the first one.
Monday night. Shout out to my boy who has been on my back since the last podcast, Jacob Compton, the doctor, comes on the show. He has been on my back for my comments I've made about Duke. Duke played NC State. And before I go into that, I also had, other than Jacob, I had Brandon Little. I know Brandon's an avid listener of this too. And he came at me today because he listened. And he said, one name on Duke of their defense, Malik Brown. Go watch Duke play defense with him in the game.
Yeah, Brown transferred from Syracuse, yep.
And he said that I sound like a SEC homer. Sorry, I had to. I love you, buddy. I also love that you can be an SEC homer and still throw shade at Castle for being a Volunteers homer. So I just laughed back at him. Thought that was pretty funny. But I think we had the Wake Forest game last Saturday. That kind of raised some eyebrows for you. You were talking to me about that. I think we mentioned it on the podcast.
I think Duke won by what, like 6, 7?
Something like that. It was closer than what we thought.
Closer than expected.
And then this is a home game against a very down NC State team. We talked about NC State being a really big disappointment this year. Very down NC State team, and they win by 10 at home.
Yeah.
Cooper Flag.
Here's the thing, though. Before you jump straight to this right here, they won by 10, right? They were down at half, 37-33.
Yeah.
To NC State.
And I get to this is a big rivalry between these two. Sure. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, they're right there. They're just right. They're an hour and a half down the road, you know.
Probably not even
and
that, yeah.
In-state rival, and then maybe Duke's looking ahead toward the Big Tobacco Road rival we got coming up Saturday with between Duke and UNC. But 74-64, down at half. Cooper Flag scored 28. This game shouldn't have been this way. If Duke plays the way we've talked about them, the way
past two games.
Well, maybe the ACC's better than what we're thinking. I mean, maybe they're finding their groove. I think you mentioned something about Louisville and who they Louisville, Wake Forest. You mentioned that a little bit.
Louisville is getting very good.
I just 74-64. If I'm a Duke fan, especially coming out for that Wake Forest game, and you can use the road as an excuse there. Anybody can use that. The road games are tough, but this is in your home court. Maybe they got caught looking ahead to UNC. I don't know, but 74-64 and Cooper Flag scoring 28 points, and you only beat NC State, a 9-11 NC State by 10. something's not where it was 2 weeks ago.
Here's the thing, though. That's still a comfortable win, though, right? It's
It
not a 1 point
is.
or
And
one possession.
Dominated
So they're still winning. That's what we need to clarify there. They're 18-2, but
absolutely they're still winning. But
I get what you're saying. Strength of opponent hasn't really been there.
But you could say that too. I mean, they're still winning. And Jacob, he came at me and said, "Hey, that 13 win streak was also when they beat Auburn. Okay, you beat Auburn by 1. Don't think you beat Auburn now at home by 1." But I've been catching flack for my Iowa State love. Iowa State's just winning, baby. They're still winning. So if we're going to say, well, Duke won a game.
Have you looked down at the next game?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know. But, I'm just saying, sitting here, they're still winning. If we're going to sit here and say, well, they beat NC State by 10, who's better than what we're getting ready to talk about in this next game? Is Arizona better or is NC State better?
Arizona, hands down.
All right. So, but anyway, I'm not saying anything. I still think Duke's a Final Four team. I think Cooper Flagg could very well win the Naismith this year. I think he could be.
Yes, I do.
He could be the most outstanding player in the tournament, like Carmelo was back in the day. Very well could happen.
Here's the thing:
as a freshman,
if there is a team that can figure out how to hold Cooper Flagg, and then everybody else goes cold, which we've seen pretty much the past couple games. I mean, Cooper Flagg's the only one really staying hot. If you can shut down Cooper and shutting Cooper down, I'm talking about hold him under 20. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's still going to. I mean, he's going to score. He's a scorer. But if you can hold him down, I think that's where Duke's going to struggle. If you have to keep Duke out on the 3, I think that's where they're going to struggle in the tourney, and it's going to happen. They're going to run into a team that will figure them out.
If I like that take too, but I want to add a little bit to that. Maybe this is just me trying to be nitpicky. You say Cooper Flagg, hold him under 20. Hold Cooper Flagg under 20 and don't allow him to drive to the basket. If he scores 20 if he's scoring 20 because his jump shot's falling, okay, I'm fine with that. But if he scores 20, he's driving, that means he's facilitating outside somehow.
And let me clarify. I mean, this Duke team's very deep, but I'm saying if you want to beat Duke, this is how you have to do it, is what I'm getting at. But and I think they'll run into that in the tourney because they will face some tough competition. We all know how that goes.
I'll ask you, and maybe you'll catch heat. I don't know how your answer will be here. Does Duke win the ACC tournament?
Right now, yes. They're the best team in the ACC. The only team that I would keep an eye on them. I mentioned them to you. I know I didn't bring it up on the pod, but Louisville looked pretty impressive. And Clemson's no slouch either. I don't know what's Clemson's ranked now or if they've dropped off the planet Earth, but at one time they weren't too shabby. So that's also another team there that could cause some havoc.
Another team, too, they're down. They're not way down, but they're down. But they could catch fire, and they got talent. That's North Carolina. They catch fire and start clicking. They could be like NC State was last year.
Yeah, this UNC Duke game coming up this weekend is crucial. I mean, it's crucial for North Carolina. It should mean more in North Carolina, honestly.
If Duke wins by 6 in this game,
that's a solid win.
You're good with that?
Yeah.
Are you concerned as a Duke fan?
Because it's North Carolina and Duke. That's why. Okay. And that's kind of why I said about that NC State game. I mean, 10 points, sure, but that is a huge rivalry. So that's still a solid win. I'm not down in that win at all. The only downing part that I have is looking at what Louisville did this past game against Wake Forest and looking what Duke did to Wake Forest. Granted, Duke was on the road, but still.
Was Louisville on the road? They play them at home. They play them in the KFC Yum.
I'll tell you, that was a home game for Louisville, so that helps. But still, I mean, it was a beating. Yeah. But you know how it is. I mean, college basketball's so unpredictable. Whoever gets hot at the right time. I mean, if you get in a game, I mean, look at freaking. I know we're getting ready to talk about it, but Minnesota. Yeah. I mean, they beat who was it, Michigan?
Michigan, the game winner.
Yeah, and I mean, they haven't done anything since.
That was their first. That was Minnesota's first Big Ten win in 2 years.
Yeah, it's all unpredictable. But right now, you ask me the question. Will Duke win the ACC? Right now, at this moment, 129-2025, I believe that Duke will win the ACC. Okay. I believe that we will win. Yeah.
I also want to say this, too. We'll move on to the next game. I think it's funny. You know, we talked about football. We had all this conference realignment. We talked about SMU. We talked about Cal. We may have touched base on Stanford a little bit in the ACC.
SMU is another team, but not yet.
We touched base on them teams in football. They were kind of relevant, you know, especially Cal and SMU in football. You don't hear nothing about them in the basketball.
Cal's got pretty decent roster. I'm pretty sure they got NBA son, one of the NBA players.
They got the NBA son?
No, one of the NBA
God,
players' sons.
yeah,
What I'm getting at.
yeah.
It was foreign. It started with an S. Sajokovic or something like that.
Yeah.
It's his son. He plays on there. They're actually not bad. Look him up.
All right. Yeah. Well.
You keep talking. You can start us off with the next game. I'm gonna look that up because that's gonna.
All right, guys. On the next game number 2.
Sajokovic or something like that. Say so.
Next big game we had on Monday night was my Iowa State Cyclones versus the Arizona Wildcats, and they go down and Iowa State gets upset in an overtime thriller in Arizona. The Wildcats, big thing here. I've been preaching about it all year, especially since when you were talking about Arizona being possibly a team that nobody's talking about that could sneak up and be really good. Caleb Love finally showed up in this game, and I really think that was a difference maker in this one. Caleb Love finished with 22 points. He didn't shoot too well, but he made some free throws, played some good lockdown defense in this game, and I mean, this was kind of like the Duke game. Iowa State was down at half. They flipped the script in the second half, scored 41, but they gave up a little bit too much, kept Arizona in it, went to overtime, and then Arizona dominated in overtime. Caleb Love dominated in overtime. They outscored them 15-4 in overtime. Iowa State does go down 86-75. This is their third loss of the year. This improves Arizona to 14-6. As far as Big 12 implications, I think this puts Iowa State tied with Arizona as far as Big 12 goes. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, just to go back, Stojakovic is his name. I don't know if you remember his dad.
Peja Stojakovic?
Yes.
Stojakovic.
How you say it?
Peja Stojakovic.
I was trying to think how to say it.
Had the beard, real.
That's his son. He plays on Cal. He's 6'7". He's a freshman. Cal is 11-9 right now, so not too great, but not terrible. They got, like I said, the future looks pretty good at Cal. But yeah, as you mentioned, 86-75. Arizona been kind of like this all year, up and down. We don't know what we're going to get out of Zona, but they are 14-6.
Yeah. So
not terrible. They're still in. They're still in the tourney at this point, and taking Iowa State to overtime. This ain't a bad loss for Iowa State at all. They're 17-3 now, so I think their 3 losses are tough opponents. I think maybe one on there was unranked.
I think one was by like 1.2. So
yeah. So Caleb Love, like you said, went off for 22. Lipsy for Iowa State, he was the leading scorer. He only had 18. I think that's a problem there.
That's the big thing there. Caleb Love shut down Curtis.
But here's the thing that I saw was crazy. Arizona dominated in overtime. They went on a 15-4 run.
Yeah.
So
15-4 run overtime.
That's crazy.
I mean, I've said it all year. I mean, we were talking about Arizona. It's like, where's Caleb Love?
Yeah.
Like last year, he was up for most valuable player. He was shocking the world, leading Arizona. And up until this point, this is the first time I remember that we've actually mentioned Caleb Love in a stat line. So if they can continue this and get Caleb Love back to going, I don't know if maybe he's been injured or he's coming off something. If they keep him going, and he's Arizona will be a threat come March.
I'm surprised. I think this is his highest scoring game this season.
I mean, last year he had a couple 40-point games. He had a 30-point game. I mean, last year he was dominating.
He transferred from UNC, right?
Yeah, he came out of UNC. He played 1 year at UNC.
So I thought, yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see Arizona make a little run. I mean, they were what, preseason 7th, something like that.
They were up
Top
there.
10?
I can't remember.
They were
exactly.
they were ranked. I know that. Yeah. And then they.
I mean, it's Arizona. You think basketball? I've always think
Arizona. Yeah. Especially past like 10 years, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, the whole Sean Miller stuff where he got in trouble for investigation kind of hurt him a little bit, but they've always done good.
They bounced back though. Yeah,
always.
Great team. Keep an eye on Arizona. We'll definitely be covering them moving forward because I'm sure they're going to have some more of these upsets. And here pretty soon, if they keep that up, they'll be back in the rankings. So Tuesday night, had some big games the other night. Michigan State versus the Gophers of Minnesota. Minnesota drops to 11-10. Michigan State improves to 18-2 with an impressive 73-51 win over the Gophers. Trey Holman, I thought this was crazy. For Michigan State, leading scorer, 12 points.
Yep.
4 for 10 from the field. Dawson Garcia from Minnesota was balling, 21 points, 9 of 16 from field goal.
Dawson Garcia was the Big Ten Player of the Year last year. He's a stud. He's the one that made that half-court shot in that Michigan game. He is the best player on Minnesota and probably one of the top 3 players in the Big Ten.
Nice. Is he?
He's from Minnesota. Yes, he is, and he's from Minnesota. He's from that area. He grew up around there, so he just stayed at home.
Gotcha. 11-10. Yeah, as we mentioned, I mean, Minnesota's one of those teams. I mean, they had a huge win against Michigan. That was a crazy game, one of the better games I've watched this year.
Yeah.
But they just haven't found it since.
I think they're 1-9 now in Big Ten play.
Yeah, it's been pretty rough. But yeah, I mean, nobody talked about Michigan State. That's another team. I mean, they're 18-2 guys, and they're 7th.
And they still have Tom Izzo. Tom Izzo
still
is
have
still
old
coaching.
Izzo up there. Yeah, who's a great coach. Been in the league for a long time. I say he's probably one of the longest tenured coaches now since Coach K retired.
He probably is. He's active at least.
What's his face from
Jim Boeheim.
Syracuse? Yeah, Boeheim, since he left too. So I say Izzo's got to be up there.
Yeah, I think he's in the top 3 in wins already. So
yeah, I'm sure.
This, I mean, you talked about the surprising stat line with Trey Holman. This is a Tom Izzo team right here. This is what happens with Tom Izzo. They play good defense and they facilitate and spread out the scoring. They don't rely on one player to do it all. I would sure if we had the whole stat line here, you're probably looking at 3 or 4 other kids that probably had double digits, if not close to double digits. Minnesota losing Rick Pitino's son. I can't remember his first name, but losing him moving on, going elsewhere to coach, going through a coaching change. For some reason, I've always liked Minnesota. Like, I've just always been like, even in football, basketball, I guess because of the Gophers, and it's something different. You don't hear about the Golden Gopher. You don't hear Gophers with any team. So I'd like to see them get back on track. But just a bad season down there in Minnesota.
Sorry, I was thinking about the Gophers. That's funny.
Yeah. The Gopher. I mean, there's
nobody cares about the Gophers.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing, too. You think about it. There's birds. There's dogs. There's wolves. There's no Gophers.
There's one Gopher.
And there's one beaver.
One beaver. Oregon State.
And one duck.
Oregon.
Yep. And there's one nut. The Buckeyes.
Is there one bear? Is there just one bear?
We got the cow bears.
No. Maybe?
You got the Montana's the Grizzlies.
That's not a bear, though.
The grizzly bear.
Is it a grizzly bear?
Yeah.
Isn't there a difference between a grizzly and a black bear?
Oh, Lord.
Yes, there is. They're 2 different bears.
Oh, well, yeah, it's a different species of bear.
So that's what I'm saying. So, yeah, that don't count.
There's only
one black bear.
Only one Tar Heel, one Hurricane, one Longhorn, one Vol.
There's a lot of Longhorns, man. That's a good place to get a steak. I don't know what you're talking about. There's a bunch of Longhorns, man. Let's move on to this next one. UK versus my Vols, Tennessee Vols. UK comes into Thompson Bowling and whoops them, 78-73. UK improves to 15-5. The Vols drop to 17-4 in a two game losing skid. So that sucks. I mean, it's just terrible. It's hard to beat a team when they come out after half and they go 4 for 5 from 3 and can't miss. And they got a hand in their face every time. Pretty tough. Kentucky did drop 48 on the Vols in the second half. That's probably the most the Vols have allowed this season, minus the Florida game, the meltdown in Florida. But I'm saying at home, this is probably definitely the most I've seen. Couldn't get it going. Had a bit of a scare with the point guard, Zakai Ziegler, in the first half. He was out the remaining 4 or 5 minutes of the first half. Looks like he blew his kneecap out with the ACL tear, but ended up being fine. But honestly, something funny during that time when he went out, Tennessee went on an 11-0 run when he went to the locker room. So I was just kind of curious on that because they were trailing, and then they ended up leading at halftime 33-30. Had a chance actually to be 35-30. Missed an easy layup. Thanks, Gainey. Appreciate that. But, yeah. All around, Tennessee, terrible from the three-point line. 5 for 41, I believe was the stat line on that. Cannot make a three to save their life. I watched a video today. Both of these
teams shot terrible.
Sure, but, I mean, Kentucky was hot from the three.
They were, but they shot 34 threes, and they made the ones out of the start the game. I think they were 34 for 5 from the three-point line.
34 for 5? That made no sense.
Like 5 for 34.
5 for 34. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tennessee was terrible.
Yeah, I think you all shot like 20%.
They couldn't hit a three to save their life. I mean, they looked like Dust Bowl never played before out there shooting. Yeah,
like Josh Williams shooting.
Looked like old Josh. Josh sent me some stuff the other day, man. I'll have to send it to you. He's funny guy. But yeah, it was bad. It was a tough night in the Castle household, but we still here. We still support. We 17-4. It's all right. Keep it up, and we'll be out of the top 25 if we keep doing this. So,
all right. Are you done?
Kobe Bray. Nope. I got to go over the leading scores. Kobe Bray for UK dominated 5 for 5 field goals, 100% shooting. He had 18 points. Couldn't miss. Igor Milicek. Huh?
Bray, he's the leading. He leads the SEC in 3-point percentage.
He's good. He's very good. That Kentucky team's streaky, but they're good. Milicek had 19 for the Vols. That's his highest scoring game. 6 of 10 from the field. I don't know, man. I'm worried about this Vols team. I thought Lanier would be the guy. He was the guy there before SEC play, and not really been showing up since. So I don't know. I'm worried. I'm done.
All right. Now that you can get off your soapbox that all the other Vols fans have been on, saying that you have no home field advantage.
I didn't say that.
I said all the Vols fans, so I'm talking about you had your soapbox, so now I'm letting everybody else's out.
Sure.
No home field advantage or
I'm
home
legit.
court advantage in Tennessee. This is the worst Tennessee team they've had in the last 10 years.
Nope.
I'm reading out tweets right now.
I know.
Rick Barnes needs to learn to play offense and stop focusing on defense because it's not going to get us anywhere.
Can I take a timeout right
Hold
here?
up. You had your moment.
I need another. I'm about to comment on that.
I would rather have a no-name coach or our women's coach than have Rick Barnes on our sideline.
My God.
If this is the best that Tennessee could put on the court, I would rather watch Kentucky beat us every time and become a Kentucky fan than be a Vols fan.
Wow. Go join them then.
Okay.
Go Wildcats.
Here we go. Here's my part. Guys, Vols Nation, whoever that may consist of, y'all fine. You played an elite team that very well could make a run and go to the national championship. You gave up 48 points in the second half. You were up at halftime. You lost by 5. One of those threes don't go in, you lose by 2. Another 3 don't go in, y'all win the game. So don't worry about it. I don't care that you lost to – who'd you lose to last Saturday? Auburn. You played them tight. Number 1 team in the country.
That's what I was going to say. We lost by 2 to Auburn. Don't ever say that this is the worst team in 10 years.
You lost.
They had a chance to win it, too.
You lost to Kentucky by 5 points.
It sucks.
They have all said it all year. The SEC is going to beat each other up.
Yeah. It's tough.
Okay. Kentucky in any other conference is the number 1 team. Auburn in any other conference is the number 1 team. Tennessee outside of the SEC in any other conference is the number 1 team. Rick Barnes is an incredible coach. This team is better than last year's team that had Dalton Connect. Dalton Connect could put the team on his back, but this team has other people that can stand up and play the game and handle the pressure.
Yeah.
A lot deeper all the way around. You have scorers who can go off at any time. Granted, sometimes there's a lid on the basket. Sometimes you're cold. It happens. It's basketball. This crap going on here and just throwing this is the worst team, Rick Barnes, stop. If that's how you feel,
leave.
Then go somewhere else. Because this basketball team is good. And this basketball team very well may be in the Final Four, if not the national championship. Very, very possible.
Got to get the scoring side figured out. Got to get these threes figured out.
That's part of the game. It's a rhythm thing. That's part of the game.
Multiple scores. That's concerning. So that's what I'm saying.
Y'all got multiple scores. Ziegler can go off at any time. Lanier can go off at any time. Oh, Milichichi here. He can go off whenever he wants to. Gainey's had some good games for you all. The scores are there. It was an off night. It was a home game. It was an off night. It's a win. It's a Tuesday night game.
And let's not forget they just played the number 1 team on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a Tuesday night game.
And it was a beat. It was a tough physical game.
It's okay. It's fine.
It just sucks. I hate losing 2 in a row.
When the Gators come to Tennessee this weekend and they win by 40.
I hope.
Let's see what happens then. We're national champs. Give Nico $5 more million. This is great. Let's pump the brakes, guys.
Oh.
You could go back to where you were irrelevant in basketball.
Get those nega balls out of here. I don't want to hear that.
It's ridiculous. It's not like you lost to South Carolina. It's not like you lost to Virginia Tech. It's not like you lost to Miami. It's not like you lost to these terrible teams. You lost to Kentucky, a bitter rival when it comes to basketball in the SEC.
And those games are always close.
Usually. Okay. It's fine. It's a 5-point loss.
It just sucks, man.
It don't suck. You know why? Because you're 17-4, and you're in a primo seat to be a 1 to 2 seed, depending on what happens the rest of this season.
Got to win. Got to get back on the winning side, baby. Got to figure out how to close out a game.
It's fine.
Regroup.
All right.
Get the next one.
Moving
Marquette. Marquette versus Butler. Take it away. Take it away there, Charlie.
Oh, Marquette. Doing what I said they'd be doing.
I'm going to start calling you Charlie.
Yeah, you could.
Okay, Charlie. I know, Charles.
All right.
Everyone,
Marquette.
when y'all see Hess out, call him Charles. Chuck.
No, don't do that.
Call him Chuck. My dad used to call him Chuck. Still does.
Yeah, only Robert Castle can do that.
Yeah, call him Chuck.
But Marquette beat Butler 78-69. Butler falls to 9-12 on the season. Marquette improves to 18-3. Is that what that is? Yeah, 18-3. Butler was up at halftime, 42-35 in this one, but then the wheels fell off of it in the second half. It couldn't keep up with Marquette. Ended up losing this game, like I said, 78-69. Marquette outscored them in the second half, 43-27. And lockdown defense and the scoring got going. I would actually say the defense was what led to the scoring here with Marquette. The leading scorer for Marquette was Stevie Mitchell. Oh, Stevie. He had 22 points. He was 9 for 14 from the field. Tennessee could have used that efficiency from the field. He was also 2 for 3 from the free throw line. On the Butler side, though, Jamil Telford. Sorry. Jamil Telford. No relation to Calvin. No, it's Talford of Castlewood. I messed that one, too.
He's jacked.
Yep. It's all right. It's 24 points.
No relation, though. You're right on that.
No relation. 6 for 13 from the field. But kid makes his free throws.
Don't miss free throws.
Don't miss free throws.
11
for 11. Yeah, 11 from the field. Marquette did what they had to do against the Butler team. Came out and finished it off. It is a 9-point victory for them. Again, won the game, did what they had to do. Went on the road, came back, went to Indiana, beat Butler.
This ain't the Butler team we used to see back in the day.
It's not.
Definitely different.
Butler and see, that's the thing too. Butler's in the Big East now.
They are 9-12. So I mean, sure, this is another thing. I mean, with Marquette, I don't trust Marquette still. I do think Stevie Mitchell is a heck of a player. I think he's their best player on Marquette. He's been mentioned multiple times. Probably I don't have a stat sheet, but probably their leading scorer if I had to guess. But Stevie Mitchell, excellent player. 18-3 at this point, very solid. Nothing to be down about. You're still a top 10 program. But these games are a lot closer when they shouldn't be. And they've lost some games that they shouldn't have.
So here's the cool thing.
That's my thing with Marquette. I just can't trust them yet.
They're doing exactly what they got to do to win these games. They're not overexerting themselves. They're not in a full-out brawl football game like Tennessee and Auburn had this past weekend. They're keeping kids healthy. They're playing.
Well, they're playing
doing what
9-12 Butler, so it shouldn't be like that.
But again, I fully expect at the end of the day there's going to be 2 SEC teams left after the second day of the NCAA tournament. But I just think that's the only disadvantage of the SEC. These teams are going to wear each other out. They're going to have to play their own interconference tournament. They're going to beat themselves up there. If I'm like Tennessee, if I'm Kentucky, a first round loss in the SEC tournament is probably a blessing in disguise.
Get some rest.
Yep. But, yeah, I'm still high on Marquette. I really think they can make a run. It just depends on the draw, who they get.
I need to see them play a big-time game. Did they play Iowa State yet earlier in the season? Or they play them?
Let me pull up Marquette.
Pull up their schedule real quick. I'm just curious because, again, I'm not completely sold on Marquette at this moment. I mean, because they lost to Dayton, right?
Yeah, but
Dayton
I think
some
they
other
did.
ones.
What's
their next ranked matchup? Let me ask that.
Give me time, man.
Get it pulled up. Come on.
All right. I went back way too far. Okay. They beat Purdue 76-58.
That's impressive. Okay. That's a good, very good win.
They beat Georgia 80-69.
That's easy.
They beat Iowa State beat them 81-70.
81-70. Okay.
They beat Wisconsin 88-74. Lost to Dayton 71-63, and then they beat Butler 80-70 is what this says. That's weird.
Wrong score somewhere.
Oh, nope, sorry, that was earlier in the season. 80-70. They beat Xavier 72-70. Beat Xavier ended up coming back and beating them 59-57 later on in the season.
It's very strange.
And they just beat Villanova 87-74, and they got UConn Saturday. and then they got St. John's on Tuesday. So
Ooh,
two
St.
back-to-back
John's,
ranked matchups.
Yeah, UConn's. St.
That
John's.
game is at UConn. Nope,
Okay.
Marquette, and then they go to St. John's. Sorry.
Ooh, St. John's next week. That'd be good. I like old St. John's. That's a good little team. I can cheer for them if they make a run.
Yeah, Red Storm,
Yeah, Red Storm. Yeah, boy. Kansas
Kansas.
versus UCF. Kansas wins again. 91-87. Now improved to 15-5. UCF drops to 13-7. This was a close game.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's a great bounce back after that Houston game for Kansas.
Absolutely. Kansas looking more like the Kansas we expected at the beginning of the season. Look for them to crack back into the top 10 after this week. They put up 50 in the second half. That's pretty nice to drop 91 on UCF. Keyshawn Hall was the leading scorer for UCF. He dropped 34 points.
Yes, sir.
9 of 19 shooting. This dude also makes his free throws. 11 for 11. Zeke Mayo, 24 points, 8 of 20 shooting, and 2 for 2 on free throws for Kansas University. Kansas. How you feel about old Bill Self and the Jayhawks?
I think I feel about Kansas the way you feel about Iowa State and Marquette. I just they have it. It's there. As far as talent level, they got a great coach. Well, I'm not a big fan of him, but they got a good coach in Bill Self. I'm just not a Bill Self person. But 91-87 against a football school. Your Kansas at home to one of the most hostile environments in the country.
Hey, UCF isn't terrible this year.
I'm not holding nothing against them. I'm just saying it's Kansas.
Right. It's
5-6 years ago, Kansas beats them handedly. It's not a 4-point game or a 5-point game. So I'm just not sold on Kansas. I think they're a good team, but I don't think they're the Kansas that we all expect Kansas to be.
Just ain't no Kansas.
Who's the basketball coach at UCF? It's somebody, some big name.
Really?
I feel like it is. Johnny Dawkins.
Johnny Dawkins.
Yep. He was inducted in the 2023 National Collegiate Basketball Hall of Fame. And selection of the UC. Oh, he had a player go in the first round of the NBA draft last year.
Nice. Yeah, they're not bad. 13-6 before coming in this one, so not shabby.
Johnny Dawkins played.
And that was at Kansas too, so they almost got him.
Johnny Dawkins, 1987 slam dunk contest champion.
Nice.
He ended up playing in the NBA 9 seasons for
Wow.
the 76ers and the Spurs and
Impressive.
the Pistons.
Played in the Jordan era.
Yep, Johnny Dawkins, good defensive guy.
Nice.
Yep.
Speaking of defense,
There you go.
Louisville
Go ahead, talk about him. Talk about the Birds.
versus Wake. Louisville beats Wake 72-59.
Man. Every time I see Louisville, I think of when Jerome's mom stole my Louisville hat.
Jerome's mom stole your Louisville hat.
When we went to football camp down in Morristown, then we went over into Kentucky through the Bridge Cumberland Gap. We went to a mall over there. They had a black hat that had the Louisville L on it. And I was like, oh, that looks like a Lebanon hat. But it had the cardinal on the back of it. But it was really nice. And that was the L now that Lebanon uses all the time. They copied that one. And I went to Richmond to the state championship our senior year when we were in state.
Yeah.
And my hat came off. Never found it. Didn't know where it was. Like, I lost my hat. Following spring, Jerome's mom's wearing it.
Man, stole your hat. Hey, nice hat. Where'd you get it?
Love Jerome.
Yeah, good guy. 72-59, 16-5 now. And Louisville is ranked 21st. Wake Forest drops back-to-back, so they're now 15-6. But the key thing here was at half, this is why I texted you. I said Louisville is up 45-21 on Wake. So when they're doing that and Duke's struggling, that's kind of concerning in a way. Now, granted, Wake did outscore Louisville by 11, but Louisville was already up by like 30 at one point, so didn't really matter. 72-59 final. Terrence Edwards Jr. is an absolute stud. So keep that name in mind as well. 18 points, 6 of 15 shooting, 2 for 2 from the free throw. And then Hunter Salas for Wake Forest had 13 points, 5 of 12 shooting. Good defense. 72-59, low-scoring game. But yeah, Louisville's a team I'd keep an eye on in the ACC. Could be disruptive later.
Could be.
Do you see this Louisville team beating Duke?
No.
If they were to play tomorrow night?
No.
No? Why not? Let me ask that.
Duke's a more complete team.
Deeper. Depth goes a long way.
They got the best player in the country on their team.
That's true. I agree with that take. But I do think Louisville can cause issues later if they do play each other. Especially after watching that game. They looked very good.
I agree with that.
But you know how it is. I called them out, so they'll lose this Saturday. The next one here, Hess. Go.
Yeah, we got Texas, number 13, Texas A&M, welcoming the Sooners back to a place they used to play all the time in the Big 12, but this is SEC country. Texas A&M wins this game 75-68, very close at half. It was 31-30 at half. Texas A&M was leading, just pulled away in the second half, became a little bit too much. Buzz Williams kind of showed here what Texas A&M can do if they're clicking on all cylinders on that night, but they just can't seem to. They're a V8 engine, and half the time they're running on 4. So it's just interesting.
Mileage savings.
Yeah, it's interesting to see here with A&M. I mean, this is a good victory, 75-68 against the Oklahoma team that was ranked in the beginning of the season, struggled coming into SEC play. Took them a minute to adjust to that, I think. But
still 15-5.
They are 15-5. They are 15-5, but I think
they're probably still in the tourney.
I think they're either 1-9 or 1-10 in SEC play.
Oof.
Or not 10. No, not 10. Sorry. I think they only got like 2 SEC wins. Could be wrong there.
Could be like South Carolina.
Could be like South Carolina. But in this one, you had Bryce Goodine. Did I say that right? Goodine.
Good night.
Good night.
Good morning. Good night.
He was the leading scorer for Oklahoma. He had 24 points. He was 7 for 12 from the field and 5 for 5. These kids making their free throws in this one. I'll tell you that. I like seeing this. And the other one is Zerkic Phelps.
Zariq
Phelps.
Mm-hmm.
Had 15 points for A&M. He was a terrible 3 for 12 from the field, but he made those free throws 8 for 10. A&M, can't figure them out. I have no idea what A&M is or who they are.
I don't think nobody does.
I think it's a great
coach.
place. Yeah, Buzz Williams doing great. I think 13's a great place for them to be ranked because at any given time they could jump into the top 10, but they could also fall to the bottom. So I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. These SEC schools, I don't know.
Yeah. Breaking news just came across my desk here.
Ooh, whoa.
Oh, I didn't know if he was going to make a noise or something. I was pausing. Dylan Harper, the number 1 overall recruit, the highest recruit in college basketball history for Rutgers, is out. He is day-to-day after re-aggravating his ankle injury on Saturday, so he will not be playing tonight in their game against Northwestern. So, Big loss there for Rutgers. Had the 2 biggest recruits in the country, and they're still terrible at basketball. So,
yeah, they're pretty bad.
Yeah.
I haven't even mentioned them yet because they're not even ready.
That was the thing. I mean, Dylan Harper was rated higher than Cooper Flagg on some recruiting things. And
I remember when he went to Rutgers, everybody's like, huh?
Yep. And then he took that other guy
he had
with
like 40 offers.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he picked between Rutgers, Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, and somebody else. I think UCLA or something. Yeah.
Did he get NIL with that, with Rutgers? Had to.
There was something with it. Either his dad or somebody went to Rutgers. There's some kind of connection there. I can't remember what it was.
Something, man.
I think it's Ron Harper's son, and Ron Harper was a heck of a basketball player. And I don't know if they went to Rutgers. I don't know. I can't remember what the connection is.
Interesting.
So, I'm sure it's somebody that gives us a hard time about our facts being wrong or something. We'll be sure to let us know about it.
They'll let us know. They'll let us know why he went there.
Yeah.
Guys, we can't do it all. We try.
What's the next game we got?
Your team. Your boys.
Who we got?
The Georgia Bulldogs versus South Carolina.
Man, it felt good to finally get an SEC win. We was on 4-game losing streak.
Yeah. Y'all looked pretty bad there for a minute. Finally put it together. 15-6. Nothing terrible. Ended up winning this one 71-60. Poor South Carolina they can't win SEC. They're 0-10.
No.
And SEC play dead last. And sadly, a lot of those games are one-possession games that they've lost. Not this one, but most of them have been close games. So this still wasn't a terrible blowout, but 11-point win's a sound win. Boyles for South Carolina led them with Thomas
Yes,
led them
Thomas.
with 19 points for South Carolina. And then Georgia's leading scorer was your boy,
That's
Noel.
so Noel. Yeah. Big thing I take away from this, just being a Georgia fan, is Dylan LaFew, bench player, freshman, came off, best game he's had all season. That's where Georgia's been lacking because it's been, literally our guards have been Demery or Kane. They finally had another guard step up. That helped. We talked about South Carolina. They're better probably than what the record shows. This was a big game for Georgia to get back on the right track after going through a gauntlet between Tennessee, Auburn, Kentucky. They got Alabama coming to Athens, or they go to Tuscaloosa this weekend, so that's going to be interesting to see. I was really happy to see Demery go back to being first-team SEC type player last night with the 12 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. Double-double for Newell. That was huge, 17 points, 10 rebounds. Great win going into Tuscaloosa this weekend. Get them back on the right foot, get them a little taste of victory again. Still missing some things. Big thing that stood out here to me, though, too, just knowing this team, you had LaFew, which was great, but then probably our best bench player all year, Cyril, who's also 6'11", no points, but he had 1 rebound. And usually he's averaging like 3 blocks a game.
I still like Blue Kane. He had 9 points. But
yeah, they did well. You look at the point spread here. You had LaFew with 14, Demery had 12, Newell had 17, Kane had 9. I'm good with that. They do that, they're going to be in a lot of these games.
Question:
it's just
how many turnovers did they have? Can you look that up? That's really that's been Georgia's past couple games. Is they beat themselves with turnovers. So looking ahead to Tuscaloosa, are you traveling to Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, going to Tuscaloosa.
Can't turn the ball over down there. If you turn the ball over, it's game over. That is an offensive team like crazy. So yeah, Georgia cannot play. They got to play fundamental defense. And they got to try to control the pace the best of their ability because if Alabama gets on their pace, it's over.
Let's see. Georgia shot 51% from the field.
Solid.
46% from 3.
That helps. Y'all shot good. Y'all shot good threes. And that's not been a problem.
No.
It's your turnovers.
We had 12. South Carolina had 17.
Okay, 12. That is much better. They had 13 in the first half Saturday.
But South Carolina had 19 points off those turnovers. We only had 10 off South Carolina's turnovers.
Still, 12 is much better over the course of the game versus 13 in one half.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can actually play with that.
Like I said, though, that was a really good win for Georgia coming
Absolutely.
out. Hate it for South Carolina. They fought at 0-8.
0-8. Okay. For some reason, I'm thinking it's 0-10 already.
Yeah, I keep thinking they played 10 games as well. They said, but yeah, 0-8 now. As a Virginia Tech fan, though, you did give South Carolina one of the wins this year, so I hope y'all feel good about that. But yeah,
Poor VT.
What we got next?
Speaking of ACC,
yeah,
UNC. This was a big game versus Pitt. This was pretty much a must-win game from UNC, and that's probably going to be the rest of their season. This must-win games.
Yeah.
UNC drops again, 13-9. Pitt improves to an impressive. Keep an eye. They're 14-6, 73-65 over the Tar Heels. Leading scorer for Pitt was Lowe. He dropped 18 points and 7 assists and 6 rebounds. Very good game from him. UNC's leading scorer is, of course, RJ Davis. He's about their only guy. Anytime you talk about UNC anymore, it's RJ Davis. That's about the only stat you get, and I think that's the problem.
Yeah, the scoring there in UNC, it's like they got one guy, nobody else can really figure it out. And you look at the recruiting class and what they brought in, you really thought that North Carolina would be a team we'd be talking about right now to be a threat come March. But right now, it's just
been a rough year.
It's not looking good. They lose this weekend to Duke. They're going to fall 13-10. And that's a struggle. But back to Pitt, though, I really like their box score in this one. You had 4 guys score over in double figures. You had one guy Corin had 14, Lowe had 18, and then Austin and Leggetti had 15. So that's good. You see a team that can score that much right there, you usually win a game.
Multiple scores.
That's a big sign if you're a Pitt fan. If you're a Pitt fan, that's really big.
And then, as we said, if you go back to UNC, Davis had 16, Trimble had 10, Cadu had 11, and then Withers had 5. That was it.
Yep, that's it. I'll score.
That's what I'm saying. You cannot lean on one guy anymore. Because all you got to do is double team that guy. Game over. Got to have somebody else step up.
What we got going on tonight, man? We got any big games?
Got some big games. I listed these down here. I just want you to give me quick thoughts and hitters here since we're rounding up on the hour. Tonight, guys, y'all already know the scores, but this is Hess and I just trying to act like we know basketball. So, number one, Auburn versus LSU. Who you got?
LSU in the upset.
LSU in the upset. This game is, I'm pretty sure, is at LSU.
That's strictly just spontaneous. That's just what came. I think Auburn should win this game handily, but LSU wins tonight.
Okay, Auburn wins by 20 is my take. Alabama versus 14 Mississippi State. Big game here. I think these teams already played each other once?
Yes.
I thought they have. I think this is the second matchup. I think they played each other like 3 weeks ago. About positive. Unless that was Ole Miss. I can't remember Mississippi State or Ole Miss.
Nope, this is the first time playing them.
First time. Okay, it must have been It was Ole Miss.
It was Ole Miss.
Yeah, who you got? Alabama, Mississippi State.
Alabama.
You know what? This game's at Mississippi State. Give me Mississippi State Bulldogs.
No, upset.
Number 6, Houston versus West Virginia. I put this on here because West Virginia has been beating these ranked teams. Can they do it again against Houston? This game's at West Virginia.
Houston by 20.
Give me the Mountaineers with another upset. Number 23, Ole Miss versus Texas. This game's at Texas. Who you got?
Texas in a close one.
Give me Ole Miss. I like Chris Beard. He already knows how to play Texas. I literally just went opposite of Hess on everything. So one of us will be right, hopefully, on something.
And you said Auburn by 20. I said Houston by 20.
Mm-hmm.
I said Alabama. You said Mississippi State. And then I said Texas close. So we'll see how that happens. We'll see.
I like those takes. Saturdays, got some huge games. I didn't list them.
Nope, got to put them on here. But don't worry, guys.
Put them on there, but don't worry.
I got it covered.
Hess going to pull it up. That's what I was going to say.
I got it covered, guys. At 12 o'clock, we have a huge matchup. The Florida Gators travel to Tennessee. This game will be on ESPN. It's about time that I can watch one of the bigger games on ESPN and don't have to watch some terrible American Conference basketball or something. But yeah, Tennessee, Florida. Florida hasn't won in Neyland, or not Neyland, but the Thompson Bowling Arena in a while.
Close enough, yeah. It's right beside it.
Yeah, right beside it. Who you got in this one?
Give me the Vols, man. I never pick against my Vols. Y'all know this. Vols
like
with a bounce-back win.
Give me the Vols in this one.
It's a revenge game. They got swamped in the swamp.
I think whatever the score was in the swamp,
they lost by 30.
Flip it, and that's what's going to happen in this one.
Shoot, I don't know.
Another big game. This is at 12 o'clock on the CBS network. Big game as far as a team that, guys, you need to watch for. This game is in Madison Square Garden because this is where they play their home games. St. John's versus Providence. Who you got?
St. John's versus Providence. That should be a pretty tough little game.
Providence is 11-10 on the season, 5-5 in Big East.
Yeah, but they're usually – I mean, Providence is that team that could be streaky. Give me St. John's. Give me St. John's. I like St. John's. You
can go to this game for $38. You can go to MSG for $38.
Nice.
Another big game in SEC. You have Missouri going to Mississippi State. Who you got?
Give me Mississippi State again.
Give me Missouri. I like their defense. At 2 o'clock, after you get done with the Florida-Tennessee game, if you got enough snacks and enough cold beer beside you, tune into this one. Auburn travels to Ole Miss. Who you got?
Ole Miss with the upset.
Auburn by a lot.
I like this opposite game we're doing.
Also, 2 o'clock.
Maybe we'll pick one.
Maybe this game, if this game goes the way that I think it's the Auburn game goes, if Auburn's going to dominate them, maybe turn over to ESPN too, because you'll have Kansas State traveling to Iowa State. Who you got?
Iowa State.
2 o'clock also, FS1. Number 17, Wisconsin, travels on the road to 12-8 Northwestern.
Wisconsin, too much.
I say Wisconsin. Let's see here. Another big game, 3:30. Number 24, Vanderbilt, travels to Oklahoma. Who you got?
Vandy. They're tough.
Give me Oklahoma close.
Get their first SEC win.
Second. They got.
Sorry.
Yep.
Second.
Yep. Nope. Sorry, third. They're 2-5 in SEC play. Since I'll mention this one because you kind of were high on them. Number 21, Louisville, travels to Georgia Tech. This game is at 3:45 on the CW. Who you got?
What's Georgia? Georgia Tech not terrible.
9 and 12, 3
They
and
are
7
terrible.
SEC
Okay.
play.
Yeah, give me Louisville. Give me Louisville.
Taking Louisville. This game is in Georgia Tech.
Yeah, give me Louisville.
4 o'clock, ESPN2. Georgia travels to Alabama. Who you got?
The Tide, man, they're going to be too much for y'all. I'm telling you. They're going to change that pace of the game, and that's Georgia ain't going to know what hit them. Georgia's going to turn the ball over too much. They're going to do Georgia. Give me the Tide.
Georgia in a close one.
Of course, yeah.
Also at 4 o'clock on ESPN. Big Big 12 matchup here. Number 11, Kansas travels to 13 and 7 Baylor.
Kansas.
Taking them. Skipping that one, I think Michigan State beats USC. At 6 o'clock, ESPN2, before the Duke North Carolina game, you have number 22 Texas Tech traveling to number 6 Houston.
I wish I could make this pick after the West Virginia game tonight. You know what? Give me the Red Raiders.
Red Raiders. I'm giving Houston. At 6:30 on ESPN, one of the greatest basketball rivalries in the country, if not one of the best rivalries in all sports. You have the North Carolina Tar Heels traveling to Cameron Indoor Stadium to face number 2 Duke. Who you got?
Duke, baby.
Duke big.
I won't say big. I say it'll be a close game.
8 p.m. Fox. Number 25 UConn travels to number 9 Marquette. And then to round it out at 9 o'clock, you have Arkansas. John Calipari traveling back home to the team that made him who he is today, Kentucky. Who you got?
Give me Arkansas with the upset.
Give me Kentucky handedly.
Kentucky's been streaky. We'll see if they can put it together.
We'll see what happens.
One other thing real quick. Last thought. I know we're right on the hour. TGL happened on Monday night. Just want to give the results on that real quick. Tigers, Jupiter's team finally got on the board. They got a win. That was the best TGL match we've had to date. They won 4-3 over McElroy's Boston team. Big key difference at the TGL, in case y'all were wondering, or what happened, what made Tigers' team so much better, is Tom Kim. If you don't know, he's an excellent player in the league right now. He was the difference maker. Could not miss his putts. He was locked in. So, Tom Kim, keep an eye on Jupiter. Now, I don't know the exact rules, if they can rotate every match or if it has to be those 3 going in. They do a little playoff system. So, right now, Jupiter was sitting, I think, 6th. So, now this will bump them into 5th, tied with New York. And I think that's the cutoff line. So, we'll see what happens. LA's dominating right now.
One thing I want to say.
Or are they not dominating in?
Firefighting. One thing I want to say about Tiger. I hate to say this. I just feel like it's getting close to time for Tiger to hang it up. I just feel like it's getting close. It's. I don't know if we'll ever see Tiger.
That's a good joke, Hess. That's a good joke.
He ain't got it anymore. He ain't got it. He's great. This is a great setup by him, but I hate to say it, but I just think.
I disagree.
So does Tiger win another major?
He'll do it one more time.
Okay.
He'll do it when you least expect it.
I at least expect it now. So let's see what happens this year.
That mindset's still there, man.
It might be there, but I just don't think his body can do it.
Maybe.
But one thing I got for you before we round it out, just something a little fun here. You have to cut 2 Heisman-winning quarterbacks, focusing on their college career only. Who are you cutting? And this is your list. Johnny Manziel, Tim Tebow, Caleb Williams, Baker Mayfield, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts at Oklahoma, Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston. Oh, sorry, that was not Jalen Hurts. That was Kyler Murray. I looked at the picture. Kyler Murray, Oklahoma, and then Lamar Jackson at Louisville. You cut 2 based off college career only. Don't care what they did in the NFL.
Cut 2.
Cut 2 and keep everybody else.
I'm not cutting Tebow because I love Tebow. Not cutting Manziel because he's probably the greatest quarterback ever in college football, in my opinion.
Loved Manziel.
I liked Burrow. Burrow was insane at LSU 2019. I'll probably cut Mariota, B1 from Oregon.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, he was good, but That list you just gave me was
that was
stupid.
the one I said.
I'd probably cut Murray too. Yeah,
I kept Murray and cut
or
Caleb Williams. I cut Caleb Williams.
Yeah, or Caleb Williams. Either
Well,
one,
I
Caleb
couldn't-
Williams or Murray.
I love Lamar at Louisville. I thought he was great. I thought what Kyler Murray did at Oklahoma was great. I'm not cutting Baker Mayfield.
Heck
I wasn't
no, not
cutting
cutting
Joe
Baker.
Burrow.
Mm-mm.
Jameis Winston, what he did at Florida State
Yeah,
was incredible.
insane.
And I'm with you on Tebow and Manziel.
Those two goaded in.
Yeah.
Like, yep. Probably, yeah, Caleb.
Yeah.
Caleb would have been my right there as either him or Murray.
But that's all I had. I wanted to share that at the end. We'll see if anybody else ever listens to this far into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, great episode.
Absolutely.
Hope everybody enjoyed it, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Tune in some good basketball. We'll be back with you on Sunday.
Have a good one, guys.
Or we'll record Sunday. We'll be back with you Monday.
6 a.m.
See you.